All right, so we are here with one of our competitors for the Duel of Fates deck building challenge. This is Eric.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing good. That was it's a pretty stressful 20 minutes.
So, what did you think right off the bat? I mean, you came in here not knowing quite what to expect.
Well, didn't know what to expect.
We had mentioned like some examples of stuff y'all might
Right.
see, but
It was definitely
it's pretty vague.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting hearing the rules. So I definitely feel not playing with a lot of non-uniques because it's not something that most people play with on a regular basis. Maybe one or two, but definitely not a full squad.
So we briefed the players off screen, and each of them is restricted to using. They have to build a 3-character deck, and they're only allowed to use non-unique characters.
Right. And
although one of those characters is allowed to be elite.
Elite, yeah. So that definitely changed the way I built, because obviously I was looking to do one particular type of build once I selected my faction, which was hero.
So Eric, he drew the Imperial Armory, so he has to use the Imperial Armory.
Yep.
He drew a hero, so he has to build a hero deck. And then the colors that he drew that he has to use is he drew red, and yellow. So he had to have two red characters and a yellow character. So what did you end up going with?
So for finding the elite character, I thought that was pretty easy. I knew that I was going to go with Rebel Commando.
Just because most health?
Most health, really consistent die.
You want 2 Wookiee Warriors, man?
That's expensive. It's really expensive. I thought about it at first. I actually was trying to think of if there was any way I could get to 30 health with the characters that I had, but there isn't, since we're not allowed to use duplicates.
Right.
I could have gotten really close, but I ended up going with the Elite Rebel Commando, a single Wookiee Warrior, and then the Rebel Trooper, because I wasn't going to go with Ricky Pilot, because there's no use for him, because I'm not really going to have a vehicle in there.
Right.
And the Guardian at least will help keep my more powerful characters
exactly.
alive. So that was kind of my thought process. And then at that point, it was, all right, get as many mixed damage, because with the Wookiee Warrior, the first thing I thought of was Electro Staff. It'll help me take care of his paid costs,
right?
Because it'll remove the cost to pay on him. So I was like, okay, that definitely has to go in. And then it was figuring out how to ramp into better upgrades for the range damage. So I ended up going with a couple of the slingshots, which I'm going to see how that goes. So it's got both the
get a chance to see that.
Yeah, the X8, because I was lucky enough to pull one, so I have one of those. And then I decided to try doing 2 Ys. And the reason why I went with 2 Y-Wings is because one of the competitors did pull Hangar Bay, or was it Docking Bay? Docking Bay. So that should help.
Yeah, and he was not
happy about that. But that should help me. I didn't want to go with Ghost because I didn't want to bank on it. But
that was something we mentioned at the beginning. I mean, he wished he would have got a different battlefield, but you can kind of play mind games where you build your deck to work well with another person's battlefield they got.
Yeah. Which we were joking about earlier, is that we were going to watch each other do their build and just do straight counters off of it.
Right.
But I tried to think of what everyone had. I think Mos Eisley was one of them. And then Separatist Based, which is the one I'm not looking forward to, because I'm not going to be a fast deck, obviously. I think I have an advantage because I have 2 red characters, so squad tactics is a thing. So I'm kind of excited about that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see how this goes. I definitely would not have put this group of upgrades together if I didn't have to. So,
yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna let Eric go, and we're gonna get our next competitor here and see what they had to say.
Awesome.
See ya. All right, so now we got Matthew in here, and Matt, you got Starkiller Base, Villain.
No, Separatist Base.
Oh, Separatist Base.
Rob can't write.
Yeah, Rob can't write.
It's Separatist Base. That's
So Matt pulled a Separatist Base. He was given Villain, and he pulled red, blue.
So I went with Magna Guard, Royal Guard, and a Death Trooper. And I think the Death Trooper I'm going to do Elite. That way he's just a big target.
Okay.
People will go after him. Then I can Guardian some damage away. I went melee weapons instead.
Melee weapons, okay.
Instead of range.
I mean, most of the melee weapons have base damage sides.
Right. And I wanted to try. I haven't tried the new Electro Staff yet. I haven't tried. Also, Armored Support is just crazy cool from the 2-player starter because it says ranged or melee, which I didn't realize
Armored Support is a support. It costs 1. Has an action. You can exhaust it to reroll one of your red die, and if it rolls a range damage or rolls a damage.
Yeah, either one.
Deal 1 damage to that
The first
character.
time I read it as ranged and I think I even read it as support die.
Right.
But then when I realized it was just damage any die, I was like, holy cow.
So that's pretty good with the Magna Guard.
Yeah. Praetorian Guard was another one I wanted to try out. That way I could slap it on like even the Death Trooper and just kind of guardian some damage away, or even the Magna Guard. I don't know. It just went melee with it. There's some removal. Aftermath, because it's 3 character decks.
So was this anything what you were expecting?
No, not really. I wasn't expecting the non-unique characters only. That kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought we were gonna, do some shenanigans, like maybe. I was thinking maybe along the lines of like characters, but you just couldn't do elite versions of unique characters. I thought that would have been interesting, but this is interesting too. It gives me a chance to try out some cards.
Right, and I mean that's the whole point of this is to
right.
Try out some cards, see what's good, see what's not.
So immediately after building my deck, though, I was like, everyone's sitting down and we're done building, and everyone just kind of starts talking, and I'm like, holy cow, I didn't put squad tactics in this.
Oh my god!
And I pulled red, so that was just a blunder on my part. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, when Gray and I tested this, we had similar things happen where we were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this."
Yeah. Immediately you start thinking about it, and it's like, "Oh man!" As soon as I was done, I was like, "There's like 2 cards that would have been really nice."
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, thanks, Matt, for coming in,
Sure thing.
and we're gonna get our next guy in here and see what they have to say. All right, so we got Desmond in here.
Hey guys.
Say hi, Desmond. So Desmond got a Mos Eisley Spaceport. He also got Villain, and he got blue, blue, red. So similar to Matt's, except Matt got 2 reds and a blue. You got 2 blues and a red. So what were you thinking going into this?
Well, first I was scared at the beginning. I've never had to do kind of a deck building like this before. But going through, kind of looking at everything, I've really found that I really want to go with the Holocron Suite. So I'm playing a couple of Force Powers, a lot of blue lightsabers, and definitely lightsaber pulls in the deck. So hopefully I can just get some stuff out there pretty quickly and inflict some damage.
Yeah, definitely. So what characters did you end up going with?
I ended up going with Magna Guard. He was my elite choice.
Okay.
Royal Guard, as well as...
That way you get the maximum use out of his dice before he dies.
Yeah, and Royal Guard as well, so I can maybe guardian some of that, and then also Servant of the Dark Side as well.
Yeah, Servant of the Dark Side has a nice 3 damage side.
Yeah, and I'm also playing in Rage, so I don't think resources should be a problem for me during the tournament.
Yeah, and then if you're able to like Holocron or play something on the Magna Guard after he dies, you can move it over to that Servant.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully it goes well. I mean, I'm really excited to get this thing going.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks for coming in, and we're gonna get on to our last competitor, Trey, and see what he has to say. Okay. All right. So Trey's in here. He got the Docking Bay Villain and Yellow, the Yellow, Blue. So Trey was just about to tell us what characters he chose.
I chose Gamorrean Guard, Royal Guard, and chose to go Elite with the Tusken Raider. So that way my deck, I didn't want to go with range because quite a few people got blue, so I thought cards like Deflect might be in a lot of decks, potentially at least a one of. So I wanted to minimize the effects of being able to reduce damage, and then having 2 Guardians is something with that much health is something that no deck has ever really been able to do. So.
Yeah, it's almost like you're running a Phasma deck in a sense.
Yeah. So, and with melee, I figured that that's a really cool combo. So, I put melee upgrades and stuff in there. The deck's gonna hurt for resources. Obviously, 2 of the characters not having a resource on their die. So I tried to keep most of my stuff cheap. Most of my events, removal, 0 cost stuff like he doesn't like you. Got 1 doubt, 1 rend, just for utility in that, but. Put that new card in there. I can't remember what it's called, but it allows you to resolve a die as if it was a focus, because my deck lacks some focus.
Not determination.
But it's the villain version of that,
right?
Basically, yeah. And then Dark Council for resources focus and to draw more cards to discard.
So did it feel difficult when you were trying to build, or initially, did you like at the end of it? Did you realize you forgot something important?
Don't think I've forgotten anything. The main question was, am I going to go like with Night Sisters and stuff like that, and do more of a like Holocron type build and do range and specials. Once I figured out the characters, like it all fell into place relatively easy. I decided, melee, and then I need cheap stuff. I need cheap removal. I need things to help me get resources, so like Dark Council goes in there. But the main hang up for me was initially having that docking bay battlefield, like you said. It's not something I would choose for yellow, blue. Like that's a really bad battlefield for that. For villain, yellow, blue. Hero, it wouldn't be near as bad. But for villain, it was just such a bad battlefield, and I just decided the only support I have in there is backup muscle. So potentially, if I have to discard backup muscle to reroll, I can get it back now. If somebody forces me to lose it because of a discard, now I can get backup muscle back. But that was the hardest problem for me, was once I saw the battlefield, then I just had to break the idea of using that battlefield. Just forget it and build the best deck I could with what I was given.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in here,
No problem.
and we're going to get right into the matches for you guys. Stay with us.